Well, we have Deaf Awareness Week in the Isle of Man coming up. Do you notice how beautifully I'm speaking slower? Lucy's with us because she's the one that always says, speak slower. But I'm doing all right here.
You're doing better, slower. Better. Give me time to think.
OK, Deaf Awareness Week. And here we are in Ramsey. We've got a team of people here that you are talking to. And I think we just need to find out what this is all about.
So you're here today at one of our lip reading classes. The theme for Deaf Awareness Week this year is inclusion. So the lip reading classes are an ideal opportunity to show people how you can be included. A lot of people with hearing loss feel that they often feel quite isolated. They can't join in, they miss comments, just everyday conversation. And some people start to withdraw from everyday activities like going to the shops, to the supermarket, because they feel concerned that they won't be able to follow what someone is saying to them, be it just social chit-chat with the cashier. They start to get a little bit nervous and anxious about that, so they stop going out and can become quite withdrawn.
How do you get over the problem, though? And I know this from experience. People as they get older, they go deaf, but they don't think they're going deaf. They think other people are mumbling. You with me? How do you get that across that maybe you just need a little bit of help?
It's very challenging, actually. It's been stated, and there's lots of research to show that it takes usually on average about 7 years before someone actually addresses their hearing loss. So it's not an uncommon thing. I used to think that it was a problem with other people and not me, the reason why I wasn't hearing clearly. The advent of then going for a hearing test and discovering that I needed hearing aids was quite a shock, actually, and I don't think it was something I was ready for and prepared for. Nobody likes to admit that there's something not working as well as it used to, and it's very easy to think that, yes, it is the actors on the television not speaking as clearly. Young people today mumble, and there can be an element of that, don't get me wrong, but also there are things that can be done. Hearing aids can be hugely helpful. The NHS hearing aids now, they're digital, they are absolutely superb and can provide really good benefits for people.
You know, if you've got bad eyesight, you go and see the optometrist, don't you? Because that's just what you do. But hearing is much more, I don't know, people feel that they don't necessarily need it, and therefore that's quite a lot of, I'm losing my abilities and that sort of thing. It's a tough one.
Hearing, there's this real stigma around saying that you have hearing loss. A lot of people feel quite frightened and they feel quite vulnerable admitting that they're not hearing as well. Specs are much more acceptable these days. But if you think back about 30 years ago, I remember my mum would take her specs off when she went out because she didn't want to be seen wearing them. Nowadays, it's the same with hearing aids. People don't like to see them, and they're often marketed as being invisible or discreet. Actually, I love wearing mine, and I don't mind if people notice that I've got hearing aids in, because it can mean that someone takes a bit more time with me. They notice that the reason why I'm saying, I'm sorry, could you say that again? I didn't quite catch that. There's a little bit of accommodation that goes with that. So,
as you say, they're very discreet. I couldn't tell anyway here. Now, a lip reading class, so this is instead of having a hearing aid, or does it help with it, or what do you do?
Once you start to notice that there is an issue with your hearing, whether you wear hearing aids, cochlear implant, whatever assistance you have, or none at all, a lip reading class can help. Lip reading is a life skill. All of us do it to a greater or lesser extent. The number of people that said to me once we started wearing masks of COVID, I couldn't hear what they were saying. People are realising how important it is to see what someone else is saying. If you have an issue with your hearing, that just becomes exacerbated. So by coming to a class, you're practicing skills that will help you. You understand why English is so hard to lip read. On a good speaker, it's probably about 40% lip readable anyway, because so many of the speech sounds look very similar. If you think of the speech shape of a m, b, p, they will all look very similar. We've had time this afternoon with the word adventure, with lots of different possibilities, the main one being invention and adventure, and it changes the whole sort of structure of the sentence and what's being talked about.
Well, as I said, you're here today with your pupils, and we had a little chat with them, and this is what they had to say about what they're getting out of it.
I think we need definitely more awareness in shops, it is so often that I have to say to people, please speak up. I am deaf. They speak to you clearly for 30 seconds and then they go quiet again, right? Also doctors. Doctors have exactly the same thing, right? My own GP, she starts off quite good and then she drops her voice down again, and I have to say, I am sorry, but I cannot hear when you are speaking so softly. And it helped me to learn to get that confidence to say, no, you need to speak up, I cannot hear you.
And Lucy always moves ahead and does it different directions, so you learn to lip read not only from the front but from the side, so she's good.
Well, it's been a great help to me. I've been coming for probably 18 months, I think, 2 years, and it's great help in company. As Lucy has already said, when you're in company, in a group, in a function or anything, it is very hard to hear because of the noise round about, and lip reading is a great help.
Well, I've learnt a lot since I come to see Lucy, plus the fact we all have a good laugh.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's 2 hours where you are relaxed because you don't have to worry about people, about not understanding what people are saying. And it's a shame that nowadays the people who are not deaf need to be trained, because I think, like I say to my family, I'm not hearing anything you're saying to me. Can you speak louder? And it's all right for perhaps a few weeks, and then they go back to saying it quietly. But it would be lovely to have somewhere where they could go for lessons. And Lucy is absolutely wonderful. She has wonderful lips so you can read her properly. Not like someone going...
Well, that's nice. I mean, they're obviously appreciating what you're doing.
I hope so. What I find from the lip reading classes is that it becomes a very nice supportive group. Everyone cares about each other, and there is that common denominator of everyone has some issue with their hearing. I've had some people in the past say to me that this time is the only time in the week that they actually feel fully included and accepted. So with Deaf Awareness Week, the topic being inclusion, this is why these classes are so important.
So what have you got going on for Deaf Awareness Week?
Oh, right. So we have free to come along to any of the lip reading classes that we run on the Tuesday afternoon here in Ramsey, Wednesday afternoon in Peel at the Guild Room, Thursday evening at the Deaf Society. On the Saturday, we have a craft material and coffee morning sale at the Deaf Society, which I'm looking forward to. Then in the afternoon, we have taster sessions. We have a lip reading taster session for an hour, followed by a BSL, a British Sign Language session, and then finally rounding off the day with a deaf awareness session.
Loads going on. A website to look at for more?
No website, but we can find us on Facebook. Just go for Manx Deaf Society. Alternatively, you can text or call 202-875 or send me an email, lucy.buxton@manxdeafsociety.org.im.
Remember all that. The sign writing, though, is that something that people who are not deaf can also come along to learn it? Or
sign language, yes. We are always looking for more people to learn sign language. There was a huge influx of interest in sign language when Rose appeared on Strictly. Everyone was just swept away by how she managed, how she coped, how she adapted what she was doing, how her partner adapted, how he could communicate with her. And it's another good tool to be able to communicate with. So yes, the idea of the sign language class, it can be of benefit to somebody with hearing loss, or it can be of benefit to someone who just has an interest and wants to come along and learn, and then come and have a chat with our sign language users at Deaf Club.
So to finish with, test you off, you can do something to that camera, with sign language wise. Say, come along or something, I don't know, whatever you want to do, just sign.
Hello, my name is Lucy.
I knew everything. I got it all. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Paul.